Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 1 of the Paigncast. My name is Austin Beatty. I'm a financial rep here with Country Financial in Champaign, and I want to thank you all for tuning in to episode 1. What I want to do with this podcast is just shine a light on the people that brighten up our city. So, person that I've got with me today, episode 1, Mr. Matt Walters. Matt, thank you for coming in and doing this for us today, buddy.
Man, thanks for having me.
Dude,
it's exciting.
It's a pleasure. So what I want to do first is go ahead, plug all your stuff before we get out of the gate here. Give us your socials, tell us what you do, get it all out there.
Yeah, sure. Broker, real estate agent with the Nate Evans Group, eXp Realty. Been doing this now for 4 years. We have an office in Mahomet. That's our main office. Our owners, Nate and Tish, work out in Mahomet, so we have an office there. And then we have an office downtown at the M2 building. So you can find me on Facebook, regular Facebook page, Matt Walters. I got Matthew Walters at exprealty.com. And then, I have Matthew Walters at eXp Realty through our social media sites. So those are my plugs, man.
Gotcha. So tell us first, where did you grow up? How'd you end up in Champaign?
Yeah, so I'm from Rantoul.
Gotcha.
Grew up in Rantoul, Rantucky.
Shout out Rantoul.
Shout out to Rantoul, the 217, as some people would say. I grew up in Rantoul. I went to Rantoul High School. After that, went to Parkland. Did a few years there for community college, and then went over to Illinois State after that venture.
Shout out birds. Shout out to the Redbirds.
Hey, it
too.
feels good to be a Redbird.
Yeah, as a Redbird, shout out to the birds.
Yes, sir.
So how did you end up, walk me through kind of your career trajectory? Because you're in real estate now.
Yeah.
And I know what you did, with some of the sales gigs. Walk me through some of your jobs and how you kind of ended up in this point.
Sure, yeah. So I think I was like a lot of people. I got out of high school. I really didn't know. I didn't know what I was going to do, man. Yeah. I had a super interest in criminal justice, but it was more or less what I came to figure out later on was the things that I had to do to get to the career that I wanted in criminal justice. I just wasn't wanting to do those things. So I went to community college for a few years after I graduated high school, transferred over to Illinois State. For a while there, I was in kinesiology, and then I transferred to criminal justice. While I was in criminal justice, probably my junior year over there, I realized that what I was doing just wasn't going to fit my career. I always knew that I was a people person.
Sure.
Right? So I knew I was a people person. I knew I could always fall back on that. In a sense, my dad was in sales. My grandpa was always in a job that was involved with people and whatnot. So, anyway, make a long story short, I got out of college. I graduated with a major in criminal justice, a minor in sociology, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I had been DJing with a local company here in Champaign, Elite Entertainment, for a while. So after I got out of college, I was DJing. I was working at a local grocery store in Bloomington, and I picked up a telemarketing job that I was working part-time, where I was literally calling the company Fast Signs for a third-party company, and I was calling them trying to sell them Facebook advertising. Whew. Yeah, and it dude, it was rough, man. I didn't know what I wanted, but I knew that I was gonna work to stay at a level that maintained a lifestyle I wanted to live.
Yeah.
And at that time, that was 3 jobs.
Yeah.
During that time, I came back to Champaign. I worked with Elite Entertainment full time in the wedding industry. Shout out to Elite Entertainment.
Shout out Elite Entertainment.
Absolutely. So I was DJing. I was doing wedding gigs. I was working probably 30 to 40 weddings a year every Saturday. But still couldn't find what I wanted to do. I knew that wasn't it, right?
Yeah.
So I got a job with CDS Office Technologies in Bloomington. Through a friend of mine, they said, hey, we're looking for a salesman. I said, I had never done sales, really, but I knew that I had done some dabbling with the telemarketing. I had done some stuff with Elite, right, where I knew that I was like, hey, I want to try to give this a shot. So it was copier sales, and there was no script or direction on how to do copier sales. It was basically, hey, you have a base salary and you need to go find the business yourself. And it was nothing but cold calling. door-to-door office sale. Oh my gosh, dude. Think like
Oh.
legs shaking now as I was walking in to these buildings because like and even though I'm a people person, so nervous.
That's a different animal.
Oh, a different animal. Like no soliciting sign, right? So like I would try to like go in there and I'd say, "Hey, I'm not here to sell you anything today. I'm here to inform you I'm in the area."
Yeah.
And I give them my card and I say, "But I might try to sell you next time." So I tried to do whatever I could
Yeah.
to like get in the door, but it was walk in, my boss said, "Hey, go out and hit 20 businesses a day,
Yeah.
door to door and get business."
Sure.
No, I made my own spreadsheets. I figured out my own way to follow up with people, but it was super blind.
Yeah.
And I mean, a long story short, you know, that's kind of was my background before I got into real estate. And shout out to Russ Taylor at CDS Office Technologies because he taught me so much about the sales business that I didn't even realize at the time that I applied now. But yeah, it was. I did that for 2.5 years. I did door-to-door cold call sales.
It's so crazy to me that I mean, I would think that when you look at people that are applying for a sales job and you find out that someone has been selling copiers door to door, young buck, no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
That is, I would be licking my chops if I needed a salesperson. I was like, I know that guy's not happy with how this is going.
Dude.
That's a scary job, and it just proves that you have the ability to like it. You have to have thick skin to walk into a place where you do not know someone and be like, "You guys want to buy something from me?" You know, like that's hard.
It was like that, and I remember I got into the business, and the life expectancy was like I think it was like 6 months. Like the average salesman in copier sales lasted 6 months, and I made it 2.5 years. Now I was surrounded by great people that I worked with that like kind of helped me get a great start into that business. But like I look back at that guy that I was at that time, and you know it was pleated pants and the cheapest dress shoes and just going into these places and literally just dropping off my card and trying to do whatever I could. I had no idea what I was doing. No clue. But it taught me so much, like doing that job, as far as just like how to communicate with people that I didn't know, putting myself in uncomfortable positions. But it ultimately led to the path that I'm on now. So like a lot of great things came from that too.
And that's so much of it is like the starting out, right? Like you just have to start somewhere. It may not be pretty and you may not get to where you are trying to go as fast as you would like to, but every single time you walk into one of those places where you don't know someone trying to sell them something, you take something away from that, right? You may not get the sale, but you do end up like walking away like, that didn't go great. You know, like I'm going to change this up next time because I didn't like the way that felt. Or it's like, you know, I got further along in the conversation this time. Like I feel a little bit more comfortable at least walking into places.
Yeah, I learned about gatekeepers and all that and all that great stuff. And I think that's a good lesson that I take now in a lot of my career now. I think a lot of people should is like there's no easy start point in any job. And I think so often now that people just want to like jump from point A all the way up to the top. But like there's no easy way to do it. Like you have to go through those uncomfortable positions. And at the time I hated it. Like I can remember waking up in the morning with, you know, nervous about, oh my gosh, I got to go to 30 different places in all these different towns and I'm going to get probably 30 rejections today. But it all worked out at the end of the day, right?
Right. And it typically does.
Yeah.
So working with Nate Evans Group,
Yeah.
eXp Realty.
Yeah.
What does the market look like right now in our city, in the surrounding area? I've seen posts from people saying like, hey, if you're looking to sell, you need to get in touch with me. What are you seeing out there right now?
Yeah, so I've been with Nate for 4 years now. I love our team and our hustle and everything that comes with that.
Shout out Nate.
Shout out to Nate. He sold me on, I mean, and we can touch base on that, but at the end of the day, the market right now, it's a seller's market. I don't think people should get discouraged by the market whatsoever. I think right now it's more or less, there's not a lot of inventory.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of buyers. Interest rates are great for our buyers right now. So we have buyers that are ready to rock. 2021's here. The new year's over. Like they have their goals for this year, and there's people that want to buy. They just don't have a lot to choose from. So I don't think it should be discouraging to people, but it is a seller's market. We need listings. We need sellers. View your house as an asset. And your asset is worth top dollar right now because there's not a lot to pick from on that shelf.
Sure.
So we just want our buyers to be more prepared than they were before. It's not really a time where you can be more of a casual shopper and look and go, hey, I'm going to bring my parents in next weekend and let's go take a look at it.
Right.
Right now, we just have to be prepared to shop. So there's, I do some videos on my Facebook page where I kind of explain to people, hey, here's some things that we should do in order to get in the right place to shop. I like taking an educational standpoint in real estate versus just throwing a lot on the people.
Yeah.
I want them to feel comfortable through the entire process. So I'm really pushing on people right now. If you want to buy, let's meet with a lender. Let's get the pre-approval taken care of. Let's get you guys in the best place. So if we do find the house right now, we can jump on it, because we're seeing multiple offer situations right now. We're seeing houses that are selling for over list. So again, if you're a seller, great.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going to get a great offer probably if my house is priced correctly and it's showing well. I'm probably going to get a pretty strong offer. But on the buying side, like, we have to go quick. And that's not to scare anybody, but it's also to get people prepared. I'm excited for the market. I think it's a great time for sellers. I think buyers are still in a great place. And I think as we do get further out of this pandemic and into the warmer months, we're going to see inventory increase. And our market, is always traditionally slower at this time of the year. Now, obviously, a couple factors have played into that this year. But I do expect things to pick up. But the market right now is definitely full-blown seller's market, and it's a great time. I think even if you're a buyer, it's a great time to kind of get those things in order to figure out, hey, what's my move? And Matt, if I want to buy, or whoever your agent is, what do I need to do to get myself in the best position?
What impact did coronavirus have on you? Like, let's say you take me back to about a year ago, right? All of a sudden, bang, coronavirus hits. What happened to you and your job at that time? People still trying to move houses. You still got probably contracts that you wrote a while ago. Now all of a sudden people are like, what's happening out there?
It was tough because we're an essential job. People were still wanting to buy and sell houses when Corona hit. I think it was a bit of a shock for, obviously everybody got affected by it.
Sure.
But for us, we didn't know how it was going to play out. I think at first it hit and it was like, is real estate just going to die right now because nobody even wants to leave their house?
Let alone show it and have other people, walking in and out of there and all that stuff, right?
Right, gloves and mask and feet covering and I don't want people in and out of my house. I didn't know none of us knew what was going to happen. But I think a lot of teams and individuals had the best year they've ever had. Again, interest rates were still really great. You can't beat anything between a 2 and a 3 interest rate,
right?
Percentage wise.
Sure.
So at first, it was a huge scare. But what we came to find out that I think what it helped on the selling side was it eliminated those casual lookers. It wasn't, hey, I'm just out looking at the house just because I'm thinking about buying. People who were out shopping were serious. But at the same time, it affected us initially because nobody knew it was going to happen. But we realized quickly that we're essential workers. So we took all the safety precautions possible. But we were out showing houses and selling a lot of homes. Our team did close to 400 homes last year.
Nice.
Amongst the pandemic.
Right.
And I know we have goals to do even more this year. Again, I think at the beginning it scared everybody. But on the real estate side of things, we all were working, and it was from home. I'm a person who's a big routine person. I'm not a great person to work from at home. I need to be surrounded by people. So that affected me a lot because I'm a people person. I like to go to the bar and grab my food and a drink in the evening by myself. I like to be around people who are the same like-minded as me to motivate each other. So personally, I went through that March to probably June period was rough. Dude, it was rough. I was going crazy. I didn't know, I couldn't be around people. I couldn't be around coworkers. And it was literally go out, show the house, and come back home. And get on your computer. So, that was a rough period. But overall, in the market of real estate, I think we came out of the year a lot better than we could have ever imagined. And I think, and I don't speak for myself, but a lot of agents and teams had the best year they've ever had last year, even amongst the craziness that was taking place.
Man, you hit on the effect that the pandemic kind of had on social people especially people that are like, are kind of in like a sales environment, just like being out amongst other humans, right? And when all of that sudden that is kind of taken away from you, especially because like you don't have kids at home like I do, right? Like I at least got people around all day, some stuff to do.
I'm the single guy who had, at the time, I was a single guy, I didn't know family, and I was struggling. So like people, I know all my friends with kids and whatnot, like that made their situation even harder because you don't have school or the babysitter or daycare, whatever the case is. So I think that, a lot of us were extremely affected.
Which is different. I mean, because like, sure, it was hard because I had to like continue to raise kids. I couldn't take them anywhere. We were kind of locked in the house, but I wasn't alone.
Right.
Like that's different too. It's like if you're a social person, like at least I had like people to talk to, stuff to do, my wife there, all 3 of my kids there.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't,
dude, I was solo, and I was like I had one day where I went to Facebook and I like made this post of like, is anybody else feeling how I feel right now? Because, and I, at the same time, like I needed to let that out, but like it all worked out, and shout out to our team too, because we pushed through all that together, and everybody checked in on each other, to make sure we were all good at the end of the day.
Man, it's just, that was a tough time. I'm glad we're getting past it.
Me too. And now we're on to this year, and again, shout out to my team. I can't praise my team and eXp, who I work for, enough, just because even through the pandemic, like we all kind of had each other's backs to make sure everybody was good, personally and professionally. And like I've said this before, like working for Nate and with the team, that's how I got into the business. As far as getting into real estate, like working for him, I went to a career night and I like heard people talk about, I didn't know where I wanted to go with real estate or even if I wanted to get into real estate. And I heard some people say, hey, I'd sell dirt for Nate Evans, and I thought they were crazy, dude. I thought these people were nuts. Like these people were absolutely out of their mind. Like, you're saying you sell dirt for the guy, and I met with him, and like it changed everything. And like and even through the good times and bad times of the business, like our team's always just been there at full support to get us through those moments. So.
So did you meet him at the career night then?
So I met Nate. I was married previously. I met Nate at I'm divorced now, but I met Nate at my first wedding, right?
Yeah.
Nate came up and they knew I was in copier sales, and I didn't know anything about real estate. I had no ambition to get into real estate. And they said, well, if you're doing this and door-to-door cold call copier sales, come to our career night. I literally didn't want to go. I like actually contemplated on figuring out a way to bail on going to this career night. And I went out of respect. So I went and I literally sat this career night with 10 other agents. And I listened to the spiel about real estate. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm going, I don't know anything about houses. I don't know anything. Like, I thought there was like a whole tutorial you needed to know, right? Like, and I listened to Nate talking. He's my mentor. Like, honestly, like, I really look up to him because I listened to from then to even now. Like, I listened to him talk, and he really made me feel comfortable with like, hey, if you're gonna work hard and do the things that need to be done, like you can make it in this business. Right. And I remember I left that career night and I called a couple of my friends. I was super excited. Like, I drank the Kool-Aid. I was like, let's go. I'm all in on real estate. And I called a couple of my friends, like, what if the market crashes? A couple of people try to give me the negative thought. But at the end of the day, I think if you believe in yourself and anything you do, like, it's going to work out. And that's really how I got into, like, wanting to jump into real estate. And it's kind of been history from there for me.
So let's say someone watching this right now, they want to be the next Matt Walters. Like, this looks good. This looks
that
fun.
Sounds really good. The next Matt Walters.
Yeah, exactly. They're thinking, this looks cool, right? And I don't know what I want to do. And they're sitting out there thinking, okay, how would I get started? What advice would you give to them?
For real estate? I think for real estate, I've had friends come to me who thought about getting into real estate. And I think the biggest thing is, like, first of all, before you like jump into the career, and I think this is for any sales job, like, know you want to put the work in. Don't look at, like, you can see us taking longer lunches and you can see us taking trips and things like that, but you're not there when we're showing houses or doing appointments and you probably deal with this the same thing too. in the office till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, on the weekends, mornings, the times that people don't think you're working, that's when you're working.
Right.
My friends want to go out on a Friday night, and they're upset that I'm going home early, but they don't understand that, hey, I got to be up at 8 a.m. to show houses all day tomorrow.
Right.
So my advice for them, it would be first, like, make sure you want to do it, like, as far as putting that work in.
Right.
If you don't, go talk to a real estate agent. There's enough agents here in the area where you can go talk to them, pick their mind, maybe even follow them around for a day and kind of see what that day-to-day activity looks like. But if hey, I want to give this a shot, believe in yourself, have probably 6 to 8 months of reserves saved up to get into the business, because this is a 100% commission job.
Sure.
You don't want to get in and be like, oh my God, I have to sell a house tomorrow, or I can't make my house payment.
Right.
Have some reserves, be prepared to rock. And if you do that, you can get into the business, you can learn it. And as long as you are, if you're a people, I'm not going to say to be a people person, but if you're a hard worker and you're willing to take a learner's chair and do the things that need to be done in this business and work for your client, like, this is about them. They're trying to buy their house. This is the biggest investment in their life, right?
Yeah.
They are number one. So, like, you call me, like, yeah, I may be planning on going out to dinner with my buddies tonight, but guess what? If I have a client who needs to see a house, let's go look at the house together. Right. Be prepared to, like, work for your people.
Sure.
And I think that if you don't know where you want to start, come to a career night, come meet with an agent. You can do everything online as far as your license goes, and then you kind of pick out, hey, what team suits me, or is it being independent? Like, everybody has their own needs. There's moms out there who want to sell 5 houses a year on the side to purchase their vacations for their family, and then there's people like me that this is my life. Like, this is how I make a day-to-day living.
Sure.
So I want to put that work in 7 days a week, and that's what it takes too. So for anybody out there thinking about getting into it, I would say figure out what you want out of the job, and don't look at it as hey, real estate's nice and laid back and easy. And I think that's for any sales. Like, you can look at the good stuff and go, that's what I want right away. Yeah. But, like, are you prepared to, like, really go in and work for it too? So,
right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
These are good tips. Listen, I got to get you out of here, but I appreciate you coming in. I could go for hours.
I know we could go for hours.
This could last a long time here. I think that originally in my mind I thought it was going to be 15 minutes. I guarantee. I don't have the timer on me. I guarantee we're past that. We may be double that right at this point.
Well, I'm glad you brought me on here. Like, I know this, like, shout out to the Paigncast, right? Because
shout out Paigncast.
This is great for the community. I know a lot of people are going to be on here, and I look forward to coming back when you're at, like, episode 100, because I really think this is what the community needed, man. So I'm glad you're doing it, and I'm glad you had me on for the first episode.
Dude, I appreciate it.
My man.
Thank you for coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Walters, go follow him on the social. Thank you for checking out the Paigncast. We'll see you again for episode 2.
Awesome. Thanks, dude.